Hi students. So in this lecture video, we will be discussing MCQs on the chapter ray optics. We'll continue, and I think up to question number 15 we have done yesterday. So 16 will start. Before that, I hope you have the synopsis ready with you. If not, please see the yesterday's video and note down the synopsis. Okay. So let us start question number 16. So in question number 16, one thing you should understand is when an object is kept between focus and center of a concave mirror, the image is inverted and magnified. Similarly, if the object is kept beyond the center, image is between focus and center and it will be diminished. Okay students, so if object is kept between focus and center, your image will be real and magnified. If object is kept beyond the center, your image will be real only, but it will be diminished. So that you should remember. Okay. So let us solve the next question. So the question says a thin rod of length f by 3. So length of the rod is given f by 3. Now f is here the focal length of the mirror. Now listen carefully once. Whenever we use formulas of optics, okay, we have to use sign convention for given quantities, whether the given quantities are numerical values or some symbols. If they've given, then while substituting in the formulas, we have to put with sign convention. Whatever they are asking, that will come, or the sign will come automatically. So please remember, whatever is given, we have to substitute with sign. So length of the object is given f by 3 and it is kept along the axis of a concave mirror. So this is slightly different. Usually the objects are kept perpendicular to principal axis. Here it is kept along the axis of a concave mirror of focal length f. Now here is a very important clue. One end of its magnified image, one end of the image matlab, touches an end of the rod. Matlab one end of the image touches one end of the rod. Matlab for that end, image and object are in same place. The length of the image they are asking. And they also told magnified image. So let's draw a diagram. So this is your concave mirror. Now the focal length of a concave mirror is minus, remember. So while substituting in the formulas, I have to put with minus sign. Now the value which they have given is not a number, but they have set f. So I should write f. So this is something important. What is the difference between these two f? This is given value. Given value. Okay. This is the one which is in the formula. Which is in the formula. So if I write like this, some confusion may happen. So let me say whatever focal length they have given is x. So it will be easy. So think of this x as a number. Suppose if they say focal length is 10 centimeter of a concave mirror, then what we write, f equals to minus 10 or plus 10. Concave matlab we write minus 10. So think this x is the given value of the focal length. Now this is the principal axis. This is the focus. This is the center of curvature. Right. Now they are saying there is a rod, length of the rod is f by 3. So f matlab here x, no? So x by 3. Understood? So this is the length of the rod. Now where it is kept? Along the axis. Along the axis. Now one end must be at the center because they told image is also touching one end. So if this is the object, image of one end touches that end. That means that end should be at the center of curvature so that image and object are at the same point. So one end of the object is at center of curvature. Now other end I can be either here or it can be here. since they told magnified image, it means the other end should be between where I told focus and center of curvature. So the object is somewhat like this. So this is your object whose length is given x by 3. Okay, actually they wrote f by 3, but f is the given value, so I wrote it as x. Now let us call this point as A, this point as B. So image of A, where it will be? It will be there only. So image of A will be here itself. So let me draw this side, because there if I draw it may be slightly confusing. So image of this will be here itself. Okay, so this is your A dash. Image of B will be somewhere here, right? So this is your length of the image. So this is length of the image, which we have to find. So to find this, what I should find? This distance and this distance. This distance already I know. This distance is 2r, or I can say 2f, sorry, not 2r. Because this is center. No, center is how far from the pole? 2f, which means here I can write this distance will be 2. Let me write given value is x. So 2x. Okay, so length is 2x. If you write with sign, it will be minus 2x. This side, no. So this length is 2x. So I need to find this distance. Now what is this? B dash is what? B dash is image of B. Image of B. Correct or not? So let us find image of B. So to find image of B, let us see the object distance. So how far is the object? B is the object, remember. We already know where is image of A. We have to find image of B. So B is our object. So how far is the object? This is your object distance. So let us calculate this. Numerical value, let us calculate. Now this is 2x. This is x by 3. Correct? So 2x minus x by 3. This is 2x because this is center. And this is, we have to find, this is x by 3. So this will be 3, 6x minus x, 5x by 3. Right? So object is how far from the pole? 5x by 3. But while substituting, I have to write minus 5x by 3. Right, students? Okay. So this is the object distance. Image distance we have to find. Focal length is minus x. Okay, so let us use the formula, because f I know, u I know. So v how to find? 1 by v plus 1 by u equals to 1 by f. So v I have to find. U is minus 5x by 3. 3 will go up. Focal length is minus x. So 1 by v will be minus 1 by x. This will go this side, plus 3, 5x. So 1 by v will be 5x, x cancels, minus 5 plus 5x, 5x cancels, plus 3. So v will be, take ulta, because this is 1 by v. So ulta if I do, 5x by minus 2, minus 2. So minus it has to be because image is this side. But length is how much? Length is this much, no? Correct? So we have found this distance. Let me remove this. This distance we have found. This is the distance of the image of B, remember, which is how far we have found? 5x by 2. Minus sign is saying it is this side, remember. Don't get confused. So 5x by 2. So now I know this one, I know this one. So length of the image will be equal to 5x by 2 minus this distance, which is 2x. That will be 2, 5x minus 4x. That will be x by 2. Which means in terms of whatever they told, they had given focal length of the concave mirror as f. That means this was given as f. Again, be careful. Initially what I wrote here, f only. Remember, right? This f was the given value, 10 centimeter, 20 centimeter, whatever it is. This is the one that is in the formula, While substituting, we have to put with sign. If I write like this, it may create some confusion. That is why I wrote x. So final answer will be what? F by 2. So that is the length of the image. Option B. So this way you have to find the length of the image when the object is kept parallel to principal axis. Find the image of this point, find the image of this point. Then subtract those two. But while finding the image of this one is very easy in this problem because this end was at the center of curvature itself. So to find the image of this was very easy. It will be there only. Okay. So let me circle whatever I found. This one I have found. This you can directly mention. This I have found. So this also I have found from the given question. Okay. If you think you won't get confused, then you can add F only, no problem. 17 you see. The short, not the, it should be a short linear object. So the most important word here is short. So there is a very small short linear object of length b and it lies along the axis. So this time also it is along the axis of a concave mirror of focal length f. Again this f is given, remember, at a distance u. This is also given, u, from the pole of the mirror. The size of the image is how much, they are asking. This is in terms of formula. So there is a concave mirror. Okay, this is the principal axis and there is a very short object. So the short object is at a distance u. So this is given value, remember, given. And focal length of this, if we write minus f. This f is given. So this time let me try to do with this f itself. And object distance is how much? When I substitute minus u, I have to write, no, because this u is given. This u is the one in the formula. Correct? No? Okay. Now this you may think, array, it is similar to previous question. So find image of this, find image of this, but this distance is very small. So when a very small object is kept on the principal axis, which is parallel to principal axis, there is a direct formula to find the length of the image when the object is short. So if the object is short, there is a direct formula. If you remember, I have derived in our regular class. So let me just remind you once. Now look carefully. If I say this is u, then I can call this small distance du or not, because it is very small. So this length of the object, this is your object, remember, the short object. So this small distance I can write as du. If this is x, this small distance I can write dx. So if this is u, small distance I can write du. Small change in the u coordinate. So this one I can write as du, right? So how to find image change in image distance? That will be your image length. So that will be your dv. So to find dv, the trick is you start with this formula. Then you take differentiation both sides, which I have done already in the regular class. If you do that, you will get minus v square dv minus 1 by u square du, and this will be equal to 0 because focal length is constant. Then if you take this side, you will get dv equals to, take it this side, minus 1 by u square du, then cross multiply with v square. This is u, this is v square. And dv will be this v by u, I can write m, no? So this was the formula which I derived. So this is length of a short object because it is du kept parallel to x-axis, and this is length of the image of the short object which is parallel to the principal axis. If this is parallel to principal axis, this will be also parallel to principal axis. So what we need to do is find only m. So what was the short formula for m? f by f minus u. Remember, right? So f is how much given here? Minus f. F is minus f. U is minus u. Okay, so this u is the u in the formula. This u is given in the question. So we have to put with sign. So this will be minus f by u minus f. That will be our magnification. So length of image, if it is short, length of image if it is short will be equal to minus m square. If you do m square, minus will become plus. So f by u minus f square into du. What is du? Length of short object. So length of short object. Now what was the length of the short object they told in the question? B they have given. This is given. Right? So just mention here, right here as B. Now since they want only length, you can take the modulus. So then the minus sign will go out. Okay? So what will be the answer? F by u minus f square into B. Option D. Okay, so I hope all of you are getting the concept, right? If the object is short, use directly this formula to find the length of the image. Or you can just remember this formula. Okay, but remembering this would be difficult. So remember this one, then find magnification separately. Okay. And if the object is quite long, like in the previous question, then you have to find image of this point, then subtract. By the way, one more interesting formula can be found from here. If you divide both the sides by time taken, so let us say instead of some short object, suppose I have a point object, and suppose that point object moves by some distance, small distance du. Why du? Because u is the object distance, right? So this is the mirror, this is the object, this is called object distance, right? So now this time it is not a short object like this one, it is just a point object. But suppose the point object moves this side, let's say by a small distance, then this can be taken to be du. So now what is du? Distance traveled by the object. So if you divide by time, that will be velocity of the object. So for spherical mirror, we can write this is image velocity with respect to mirror, because all these distance are measured from the mirror, remember. So image velocity with respect to mirror is equals to minus this v by u, I can write magnification square into object velocity with respect to mirror. Okay. For plane mirror, if you remember, magnification is 1. So you can just write here 1. For plane mirror, this was the formula, already we have used it. So this is the formula between image velocity and object velocity. So next question, let us see what they are asking. Find the velocity of image at an instant as shown in the diagram. So at an instant as shown in the diagram. So there is a concave mirror, sorry, convex mirror, convex. Object is at a distance 10 centimeter, which will keep changing. Remember, it will keep changing because the object is moving. With what velocity it is moving? 4 centimeter per second. And the focal length is given 10. Now this is the given value. It is convex, so it will be plus only, right? And what will be object distance at this instant? Object distance at this instant will be minus 10, because it is towards the left. Incident rays are coming from left to right. Object distance will be from pole to object, so opposite to incident ray, so negative. And for convex, we know it is positive. Focal length can be found directly by remembering convex has positive focal length, concave has negative focal length. So this is your what velocity? Object velocity. Since mirror is at rest, no need to worry about this m here. So image velocity will be minus m square times object velocity. I am not writing m here because mirror is at rest. Correct? No. Mirror is not moving in the question. So first I will find magnification. What is the short formula? F by f minus c. So f is plus 10 minus 10. So that will be 10 by 20. That will be half. So magnification is half. So image velocity will be what? Substitute here. Minus half square will be 1 by 4 into object velocity is 4. So minus 1 centimeter per second. So image, if you remember, for convex mirror, image is this side, right? And it is moving with 1 centimeter per second. Minus it is. So this side we have written positive. Since image velocity is minus, it must be this side. So this is your image velocity, which is coming 1 centimeter per second. Magnitude is 1, direction is this side. Minus sign means it is this side. Okay. So which is the right answer? 1 centimeter per second in leftward direction, left side. So option A. Option A. One thing you should remember is this image velocity is not something which is constant, because as the object moves, this object distance will change. So as the object distance will change, magnification will change. As magnification will change, image velocity will also change. So even if the object is moving uniformly, image will not move uniformly, remember. Object is moving uniformly, see, 4 centimeter per second, 4 centimeter per second, 4 centimeter per second. But this object distance keeps changing. So magnification will keep changing with time. So image velocity will keep changing with time. So there will be acceleration for image. So even if object is moving uniformly, image will have acceleration. Something very important to remember. Make a note if possible. 19th question you see now. Now, from 19 onwards, there will be some questions where one concept is needed, which already we have discussed in the class, but let me remind. So this is something which all of you should remember, okay? Whenever multiple events, now by events, what do I mean in this chapter? By events, I mean either there will be reflection or there will be refraction. These two can happen in this chapter. So whenever light goes through reflection, then refraction, then one more reflection, whatever, multiple. So whenever multiple events occur, image made by first event will be object for the second event. So very, very important. Okay, so this sentence, try to memorize it. Already you have understood this before also we have discussed. So when multiple reflection or refractions happen, image made by the first event will be object for the second one. Then image made by the second one will be object for the third one. Then it keeps on continuing. Okay. So please remember this, make a note. So question number 19. A point source of light S is placed between concave mirror and plane mirror. Now exactly at the middle or not, in the diagram it looks at the middle, but I'm not very sure. So a point source is placed between concave mirror and plane mirror. The beam of light incident on the plane mirror becomes parallel to the optic axis, matlab principal axis, after reflection through the concave mirror. So a beam of light on the plane mirror becomes parallel after reflection to whom? Concave mirror, remember. The focal length of concave mirror is 30 centimeter and the point source is midway. Okay, last part they have told. The point source is midway between concave mirror and plane mirror. Find the separation between concave mirror and plane mirror. So the diagram shown is like this. This is your concave mirror. Usually we show like this because usually we show light coming from left to right. But if you show like this, if the question is drawing like this, you have to draw like that only, right? You cannot change this. So now light has to come this way. So this will be positive now and this will be negative. And there is a plane mirror. This is the principal axis. At the midway, there is an object. They want us to find this distance. Let us call this distance x. So this x we have to find. Provided we use whatever information they have given in the question. Now in the question what they told, a beam of light after hitting the mirror, this will go like this, right? Yes or no? So it may not look perfect. So let me draw at a slightly smaller angle. Yeah. So this light will go like this. So this will be your angle I, this will be angle I. Then according to question, after a beam of light strikes the mirror, then it becomes parallel, but after reflection from the concave mirror. So it should become parallel. That is what they are saying in the question. So this much information they have given. Now, if the light has become parallel, now see, if this is the object, first reflection will form image here or not? Right? First reflection will form image same distance behind. That means if you want x, then this is x by 2. So this is also x by 2. For plane mirror, it is very easy to find the image. So this is image made by the first reflection. And why it was so easy? Because the first reflection was from plane mirror. Then second reflection, the light becomes parallel. If the light becomes parallel, it means your image will be formed at infinity. Your image will be formed at infinity because of this reflection. Because this ray and another ray, you can draw this one, right? This will just go tick, tick, tick like that. So this incident, you can see for example, for the first reflection, these two are incident rays, these two. They meet here. So this is object. Then it is reflected like this. So for the first reflection, this one and this one are your reflected rays. They meet here. So this is the image made by the first reflection. Then this light will again hit and come back. So after reflection from here, this one is reflected ray from the mirror. This one is reflected ray from the mirror. Where they will meet? At infinity only. So if image is formed at infinity for a concave mirror, try to remember this part. If I keep object somewhere and if image is formed at infinity, then it means the rays should go like this. That will only happen when the object is where? At the focus. That means for this reflection, the object who is, by the way, who will play the role of object for this reflection? Image made by the first one. So that will be must be at the focus of this. So this must be at focus of concave mirror. Right? Only then this light will appear to come from focus like this and then it will go to infinity. That means this distance must be 30 centimeter. Distance must be 30, length must be 30. because the focal length was given as 30 centimeter. So now you can see 30 must be equal to this x plus this x by 2. So that will be 3x by 2. So 3x by 2 equals 30. Right? So this 3 and 10 will cancel. So x will be 20 centimeter. So distance between the object, sorry, the concave mirror and the plane mirror is x, which is 20 centimeter. Now, without drawing diagrams, can we do this? Yes, without drawing diagrams. In fact, that is the easiest way, and that is the way we should do it. We should only remember that image made by the first one will be object for the second one. So this is concave mirror, this is plane mirror. This distance they are asking. Object is at the center. Now, according to the problem, light should first hit here, then here, then here. It may go here also, but that they are not asking. So first reflection here, second reflection here, then it should be parallel there. Which means what? Which means first you have to find image made by the plane mirror. So if this is the object, image will be same distance behind. Then this image will act as object for this. Now the image, because the rays are parallel, after reflection, image will be at infinity. Second image will be at infinity. Image made by this one. Therefore, this one, which is going to act as object for the concave mirror. Where should be the object if image is at infinity for a concave mirror? At the focus. Therefore, this must be the focus of the concave mirror. Because second image, the image made by the reflection from the spherical mirror should be at infinity according to the problem, because the rays should go parallel to the principal axis they told. Understood? So if the rays are going parallel, it is very clear that the image made by the spherical mirror will be at infinity. So object for the spherical mirror must be at the focus. And who will be that object? Image made by the first event. Which was the first event? Reflection from the plane mirror. Correct or not? So this must be at the focus. So therefore this must be 30. And if this is x by 2, this is also x by 2. Then we can easily find without drawing any ray diagram. But the ray diagram helps you to understand what is actually happening. So actually the light goes here like this, a beam of light goes like this, then it goes like this, it appears to come from here, and then the rays become parallel. Okay, so if the rays become parallel, this is concave mirror, and if reflected rays are going like this, then incident rays must come from focus. Okay. Let's see the next question. A point object P is placed at a distance of 36 centimeter from a convex mirror. A point object P is placed at a distance 36 centimeter from a convex mirror. So convex mirror, point object is kept at a distance of 36 centimeter. Okay. A plane mirror is placed between the object and the convex mirror at a distance 24 centimeter from the object. So this will be, half of this will be 18. So 24 means somewhere here. So this is your plane mirror. This is the way they have kept, okay, in the diagram. So this is 24 centimeter. If no parallax is found, last class I have told you, I will revise once. If no parallax is found between virtual images, both will form virtual image, right? Virtual images by the two mirrors. Then find the radius of curvature of the mirror. So radius of curvature means let us find focal length. Once you find focal length, radius we can find. So this is the important point here. Now look here. Because of reflection here, one image will be formed. Because of reflection here, one image will be formed. So two images will be formed because of reflection from plane mirror and reflection from convex mirror. Those two images, according to the question, should not have parallax. So last time I told you, imagine these are two things, any two things, whether they are objects or images, doesn't matter. Now, when I move my eyes towards my left, if I see this one, nearer one shifting towards the right, and this one shifting towards the left, then it means there is parallax between these two. So you may have observed while driving, the nearby objects will go behind, will go back, and the far objects will go with you only. So if you look at the moon follows you, but the trees, they go behind. So if that is there, then we say there is parallax between the moon and the trees. Similarly, if there is a shift like this, when you move your eyes like this, if you see shift between these two objects or these two images, then we say there is parallax between these two. But if there is no parallax, it means if I shift to the left, both of them should shift to the right together. That is only possible if they coincide. If they coincide, then you can see if I shift this side, both of them will go this way. I feel like both of them has given this way. Understood or not? So if the two objects or the two images shift together, then we say there is no parallax. So this information means the image of the images made by the two mirrors must coincide. So this information means images of the two mirrors formed by the two mirrors formed by the two mirrors by the mirrors should coincide. Okay, that's it. Now look here. For plane mirror, so it is very easy to find image. So it will form at what distance? 24 centimeter only. So let me put circle because I have found it. So if object is 24 centimeter in front of the plane mirror, image will be also 24 centimeter behind the plane mirror. So this is by plane mirror. Now since no parallax is there, image made by convex mirror should also be here only. This is by convex. So for convex, we know the object distance 36 and image distance will be how much? This much will be image distance. Now how much that will be? Now look here, this is 48, right? 24 plus 24, 48. This is 36. So this will be 48, 24 plus 24, 48 minus 36. That will be 12 centimeter. Right, so we have found distance of the image from the convex mirror. So let us apply mirror formula. For which mirror? Obviously mirror, this formula is only for spherical mirror. So this mirror I am applying for which mirror? Convex mirror. So what is the image distance for convex mirror? Since we are applying this formula for convex mirror, all the distances are measured from the pole of that mirror. So distance of the image from this mirror, matlab from the pole, means how much? 12. Since it is this side, I should write plus 12. Object distance is this side. Object is this. This is 36, remember. Don't use 24 because we are applying this formula for convex mirror. So minus 36 equal to 1 by f. So 1 by f will be 1 by 12 minus 1 by 36. So LCM will be 36, 12 3s are 36 1s are. So 1 by f is 3 minus 1 by 36. So 2 by 36. So 1 by 18. So focal length is 18 centimeter. You can see it came positive. It should come positive only. Why? Because it is convex mirror. Vex. So whatever you don't know, no, you don't put sign. Sign will come automatically, I told. So now radius will be what? Radius is f by 2. Sorry, f is r by 2, so radius is twice of f, so that will be 36 centimeter. So radius of curvature is 36 centimeter. Option C. Okay. For 21, we should remember, I told you that when light goes from one medium to another medium, which property of the light does not change? Frequency does not change. But velocity, we all know, changes. Therefore, wavelength also has to change, because velocity is frequency into wavelength. So when light goes from medium to medium, frequency does not change. But speed of light changes. It becomes how much? In medium, what is the speed of light? C by refractive index. Yes or no? Just cross multiply, you will get the formula for refractive index. Right? Okay. So it decreases. See, in vacuum it is this much. In medium it is divided by a number greater than 1. So the speed will decrease by this much times. Similarly, so if this decreases, this also should decrease. So wavelength in medium should be wavelength in vacuum divided by refractive index. So please remember this, okay? So wavelength in medium must be wavelength in vacuum divided by refractive index of the medium. Because this decreases, so this should decrease obviously, because this remains constant from medium to medium. So next question is based on this concept. So let us see. Refractive index of air is 1.0003. So refractive index of air is given 1.303. So usually we take 1, but now you cannot take 1 because they have clearly mentioned it is not 1. The correct thickness of air column, they want correct thickness of air column which will have one more wavelength of yellow light 6000 angstrom than in the same thickness in vacuum. So the number of wavelengths in air column should be one more than in the same, then what, then number of wavelengths in the same thickness but in vacuum. So let me repeat once more. The correct thickness of air column which will have one more wavelength of yellow light than in the same thickness in vacuum. So what is happening? Let's try to see. Take some air column, air, some thickness, and take same thickness, they told, same thickness vacuum. Now, where is your wavelength less or more? You know that wavelength in any medium is slightly less than wavelength in vacuum because this is greater than 1. So, in your vacuum, wavelength will be more. In your medium, which is air here, wavelength will be slightly less. So, if I am able to draw this many wavelengths, okay, this is one wavelength, no, one wavelength, two wavelength, three wavelength, four wavelength, five wavelength. Here it is, they are saying in air it will, the wavelength will be less, no, in air. In medium, wavelength will be less, so these waves will be thinner, so you will be able to put more number of waves, 1 2 3 4 5 6, like that. If it is, so basically what they are saying, if the number of waves, if the number of complete waves, matlab, let us say this is one wave with length lambda. So if the number of waves here is capital N, here the number of waves, no need to count exactly, here the number of waves is 1 plus more, they are saying n plus 1. It's one more than this. That is what they have told in the question. Okay, students. So if here 5 wavelengths are there, here 6 will be there. Why 6 are there? Because the wavelength here is less than here. No, in medium wavelength is less, remember. Okay. So this thickness I can write n plus 1 wavelength of one wave, which is lambda in air. And here I can write same thickness as n times wavelength in vacuum. Not, let me write. Everybody understood, right? So 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, 4 lambda, 5 lambda. So if there are 5 waves, then this thickness will be 5 lambda. I don't know how many waves are there, so I am saying number of waves here is n. Then here it is 1 plus 1 extra they told. So this thickness should have n plus 1 wavelength, and this thickness should have n times wavelength. Okay? Meaning we can equate these two. So if I equate these two, n plus 1 wavelength in air equals to n times wavelength in vacuum. Remember, we have to find the correct thickness of air column. Okay, so this thickness we have to find. So here I can now use my formula. This quantity, wavelength in air, I can write wavelength in vacuum by refractive index. This will cancel. So I cross multiply, n plus 1 will be equal to n times n. So take this n this side. So n minus 1 capital N. So capital N is 1 by n minus 1. So I have found number of waves here. So let me use this formula only, this second equation. This is first equation. So we have to find T. No, now whether you find this T or this T, it doesn't matter because same thickness they told. So let me substitute this N here. So what will I get? The thickness of the air column will be equals to lambda naught, capital N is n minus 1. Now lambda naught is the wavelength of the light in vacuum. Now they told it is 6000 angstrom. They just told 6000 angstrom. So it means it is in vacuum only. Whenever they don't mention the medium, it is in vacuum. Okay. So the wavelength in vacuum is 6000 angstrom. 10 power minus 10. Refractive index is 1.0003. So this will be 0.0003. So 6 into 10 power minus 7 divided by 3 into 10 power minus 4. So 2 into 10 power minus 3 meter. Matlab 2 millimeter. So option A, 2 millimeter is coming, right? So I hope everybody understood, students. See here, in vacuum, if you have some number of waves, okay, let's say in this much thickness, there are n waves. Now one wave has wavelength, one wave has wavelength. So in this thickness, if there are n waves, then what will be the thickness? N into wavelength of one wave, which is lambda. So in vacuum, thickness is equals to n times wavelength in vacuum. Now same thickness they told. So in same thickness in air, what will happen? In air, the wavelength is less. So it's like saying, if there are thinner students, then you can put more number of students in the same bench. So once you replace the medium from vacuum to air, the wavelength decreases. So the wave becomes in a way thinner. So you can have more number of waves in the same thickness. And how much number extra they told in the question? 1. So if this has n, this will have n plus 1 waves. So from here we write two equations. Now there are two unknowns here. These two, though, by dividing this and this, we can find relation between these two, right? We have done already. And this n we have to find first. So after finding the capital N, which was equal to 1 by 1, 1 by n minus 1, we substitute this capital N here so that we can find the thickness. Okay. please remember, in denser medium, refractive index will be more. So your wavelength will be less. And if wavelength is less, what does it mean? In the same thickness, you can put more number of waves. Okay, on a glass plate of light wave is incident at 60 degree. If reflected and refracted waves are mutually perpendicular, the refractive index of the material is how much? So the light is incident at an angle 60 degree. Okay, they are saying the reflected ray, which will be also at 60 degree, right? And the refracted ray, rarer to denser towards the normal, right? These two are mutually perpendicular in the question. So they want you to find what, students? Refractive index of the material. So this is air, this is glass plate. So on a glass plate, a light wave is incident at what angle? 60 degree. They did not mention the medium from where light is coming, so we have assumed air. So again, I'm telling you, from previous question, you may start thinking, oh, from now onwards for air, we should write 1.0003. No need. In that question, it was mentioned. So we have to take it whatever they have given. But in all the problems, unless they mention, we will always take refractive index of air as 1. Now, how do I solve this? This is angle R. Angle I know. So to find refractive index of the glass plate, I should find angle R. Angle R can be found easily from geometry, right? This is 60, so this is 60. This is how much? 90. So this whole angle should be what? 180, no? So R should be 180 minus 60 minus 90. So from this 180, you subtract 60 and 90. Then you will get this R. So this R will be, this is 150, 180 minus 150, 30. Once you have found R, use Snell's law. So this is 8. So 1 into sine I equals to n into sine R. Right? This is how I have taught you how to write Snell's law. So sine I matlab sine 60, R matlab sine 30. So sine 60 is root 3 by 2, sine 30 is half. So n is equals to root 3, which is approximately 1.7. So answer is either root 3 or 1.7. Option B, root 3. Question number 23, you see. One side of a glass slab is silvered as shown in the figure. So there is a glass slab and one side is silvered. Silvered, when they say, it means that will act like mirror. A ray of light is incident on the other side at an angle of 45 degree. So this is 45 degree. Refractive index of the glass slab is 1.5. The deviation of the ray of light from its initial path when it comes out of the slab. So when the light comes out of the slab, why will it come out? This is mirror, so it will reflect. So light will come out, but it should be rectangular, so it should be parallel to this. Okay, now it is at least little better, no? So when the light comes out, what is the deviation they are asking? Now what is the meaning of deviation in optics? So if light is going this way and then something happens here, and then it comes out this way, then deviation means extend this one if you want, or directly you can say this is called deviation. So that is the meaning of deviation. Okay, so if you are going this way and you forgot something and you went this way, then how much angle you have deviated, that angle is called deviation. So don't measure this angle. Okay, so it is the angle between initial direction and final direction, that is called deviation. So here this is 45 degree. Now here refraction will happen, this will be R, right? And then here reflection will happen. Now if this is R, this is also R. Yes or no? Because this line and this line are parallel. If that is R, because of reflection, this is also R. That means when light reaches here, this will be R. So the angle of this is now like your angle of incidence. So the light will go from denser to rarer, it will bend away. Now what will be this angle? Well, little bit smartly if you think, this is angle of incidence, this is angle of refraction. Now this is angle of incidence, which is matching with this, and this is angle of refraction. First thing. Second thing, air, refractive index, air, glass, glass, air. So by symmetry you can directly write that this must be 45 by symmetry. Suppose you did not understand, then mark here A, mark here B. Apply Snell's law at A. Apply. So this is air. Okay, when they don't mention, it is air. So 1 into sine 45 equals to n into sine r. Correct? Now apply Snell's law at B. This is your angle of incidence, which is in which medium? 1.5. So n into sine I, n into sine I, which is r, equals to, this is air, 1 into sine this angle, which let me write right now question mark, or E let me write. So now if you compare, you see this side, this and this are same. So you can equate these two, but this is 1, this is 1, this is sine, this is sine. So E must be 45. Correct? No, so this must be 45. But no need to waste time here. By symmetry, you should feel like that, because this is air to glass, glass to air. First thing. So refractive index of these two and these two are same. Then this is I, this is R. Now here this R becomes I. So the R here must be I here. So it must be 45 directly, or you can just check once. Correct? No. So you know that this is your initial direction. Right? This is the surface. Now this is your final direction. Now with this line it is making 45, with this line also it is making 45. So if you extend this and this, what will be this angle? That will be 90. Correct or not? So the light was going this way, now it is going this way, so it has deviated by this angle. So this is 90, matlab this is also 90. Understood? No? See, this is 45, this is 45. So if I bring this here, if I draw one more line parallel to this two, it should be parallel. So if these two are parallel, then you see that direct angle between this and this should be same as angle between this and this, because these two are parallel. So angle between this and this should be same as between this and this. So this is 45. So this is 45. So this angle will be 90. So this will be 90. Are you clear? So the deviation will be 90 degree. So deviation of the light is 90 degree. Okay, let's see the next one. A ray of light is incident at the glass water interface. Before I solve this problem, students, see something very important concept. So this one, let me call it refraction through multiple layers. Refraction through multiple layers. So imagine I have multiple layers like this. Okay, this is N1, this is N2, N3, N4, and this is N0. So let's say light is coming at some angle I. Okay, then it will refract. Depending on the values of refractive index, it may go this way, then this may go like this may go like this may go like this. I have no idea, okay, but I'm just drawing it. Now, this and this R will be here your R. You understood, no? And here whatever R dash will come, that will be your R dash here. Because this angle, and you see this light is like this line are parallel. So if this is R, this is also R. Then this is R double dash, let us say. Then this is your R double dash. Sorry, that this is R double dash means this is R double dash. This is R double dash. So this is your R double dash. And that will be R double dash. So this will be R triple dash, let's say. So now, if you can see carefully here, you look here, N naught sin I from Snell's law will be N1 sin R. What is R? Angle of refraction in the second medium. Correct or not? Okay. Once you have done that, then when you go to third, this is your, let us say, zeroth medium, first medium, second medium. So refractive index into sine of angle of incidence in the zeroth medium is same as refractive index into sine of angle of refraction in the second medium. Now, look here. This one, when you apply Snell's law here, this one will be N1 sin R, because your R is I now. For this refraction, this is your angle of incidence. So this quantity can also be written as N2 sin R dash. That one, that R dash will be angle of incidence here. So apply Snell's law here. N2 sin R dash should be N3 sin R double dash. And then apply Snell's law here. N3 sin R double dash should be N4 this sin R triple dash. So that way it keeps on going. So this equality will always be maintained. In other words, you can directly write this equal to this also. You can forget everything here. You can forget everything here and write directly relation between this and naught and this and 4. The only thing is here I we have to use angle of incidence, and for this medium we have to use angle of refraction. Understood? So we can also write n naught sin I is equal to n4 sin R. Whatever R it may be, R triple dash, R number of dash you put, I don't care. I just wrote symbols. Understood? No. So at every step, if you use Snell's law, you will find that this n sin I is equal to this n sin R. Then this n sin R, which will become this n sin I, will be equal to this n sin R. So if you apply Snell's law here, you will always find this relation. So the important point is you can take any two refractive index, this and this. Then you can write n naught sin I is equals to n2 sin R. Check here, sin 2 sin R, but that R is R dash. Okay, so keep this in your mind and make a note. If you remember this, no, then you don't have to write Snell's law at every surface. That is why I wanted to do this discussion. So in the second 24th question, they are saying a ray of light is incident at glass water interface. So here there is glass and here there is water. Leave this one. Why to draw all this? So this is glass, this is water. So a ray of light is coming like this. This is your angle I. Then it will, this is denser to rarer. No, denser to rarer, it will bend towards the normal. So this is your R. Right? Denser to rarer, sorry, denser to rarer should bend away from normal. Rarer to denser is towards, denser to rarer is away. So this is your R. And then here it is again denser to rarer, but what they told, a ray of light is incident at glass water interface here at an angle I. It emerges finally parallel to the surface of water. Matlab it emerges parallel to the surface of water. The value of mu g they are asking. Mu g here means refractive index of glass. So I've told you, if you remember during the regular classes, that for refractive index sometimes we write n, sometimes we write mu. So they want refractive index of this glass. For water they have given, yes, for water they have given refractive index of water is 4/3. Now this is multiple layers, glass, water, and this is not mentioned, so it will be air. So they want you to calculate this refractive index. I value, do we know? Angle of incidence. Oh, answer should be in terms of angle of incidence only. So you should consider this as given quantity because answer is in terms of this angle of incidence. So what we can do, forget about this middle part. Remember whatever I taught you in the previous section. Then this refractive index into this sin I should be also equal to this refractive index. What is refractive index of air? 1. 1 into sine of R. This R. And this R is clearly 90. So refractive index of glass sin I will be equal to 1 into 1 because R is 90 degree for this medium. So I have skipped many parts by not applying Snell's law here, then Snell's law here. See, if you want to do it aram se, you can apply Snell's law here. So you will get mu g sin I is equals to mu w sin R. Equation 1. Then apply Snell's law here. Mu g sin R, because if that is R, this is also R, equals to mu air sin 90 because R here is 90. But the in between step you can skip because already I have told you that this into sin I must be equal to this into sin R here, and R here is 90. So mu g will be 1 by sin I. So I hope you are not confused that sometimes mu is used, okay? Because next chapter exclusively we are going to use mu only for refractive index, okay? 25, you see, again a very nice problem. So in question number 25, they are asking, a ray of light falls on the surface of a spherical glass paperweight. You know, no, in offices and all, they will have some spherical glass which they will keep as a weight to, you know, not allow papers to go here and there. So there is a spherical glass plate and a ray of light falls on the surface of a spherical glass plate, making an angle alpha with the normal. So if you draw a diagram, this is your spherical glass width. This is glass. Okay. Now a ray of light is incident at some angle alpha with the normal. So if this is the center, this will be your normal. Normal is, how do you draw normal for any spherical surface? Pass a line passing through center. So this angle is given as alpha. So don't come this way, okay? If you come this way, that will go so straight. So it is coming at some angle. You can draw this way if you want. You can draw this way, your wish. So the angle of incidence here is alpha with the normal and is refracted in the medium at an angle beta. So this is rarer to denser, so towards the normal. So this angle is given beta. The angle of deviation of the emergent ray after the light emerges out, they want you to find the angle of deviation from the direction of incident ray. So if light comes out, then clearly here there will be refraction. So let us do one more normal. Now look carefully. This must be isosceles triangle. Yes or no? Because this is radius, this is radius. So if this is beta, this also must be beta. Now denser to rarer, it should bend away from the normal. Denser to rarer, it should bend away. Now what will be this angle? Think and tell me fast. It will be alpha without doing any calculation. Why? See, air, glass, glass, air. Angle of incidence, angle of refraction. Here your angle of incidence is angle of refraction. So your angle of refraction here will be angle of incidence here directly. Otherwise, if you want to waste your time, apply Snell's law here, apply Snell's law here, write here E, apply Snell's law here, apply Snell's law here, you will find E is nothing but alpha. So let me just write quickly alpha. Now they want deviation. Deviation means what? How much the light deviates. So what we will do, we will calculate at each refraction what is the deviation. So light here was traveling this way, then it is traveling this way. So this is the deviation. This is the first deviation. So the first deviation will be how much? Look at, if this is alpha, this angle also should be alpha. Because this is vertically opposite. Correct or no? This is straight, this is straight. So if this is alpha, this is also alpha. Out of alpha, this much is beta. So remaining must be alpha minus beta. So first deviation is alpha minus beta. Everybody clear about this? This is something very basic. Okay, suppose this is your denser medium and this is your rarer medium. Light is coming from rarer to denser. So let's say light is coming this way. So rarer to denser light will bend towards the normal. Right, let me try to show the angle of incidence larger. Now, if I want deviation, then deviation means how much angle the light has bent. So extend this direction, then this is called deviation. This is your deviation. Okay, how much the light has bent, how much it has bent. Now look here, if this is I, this is also I. Vertically opposite. Yes or no? This is normal, this is straight line, and this is your R. So out of this angle I, this much is R, so remaining will be what? I minus R. So that much deviation happens when light travels from rarer to denser. So deviation here means I minus R, alpha minus beta, correct? Okay. Similarly, here let us try to find deviation. One more deviation happens here. So this light was going this way, you see. Right? So it has bent this much. So this is your deviation here, delta 2. What will be that deviation? Same, only same. Extend this light. Now if this is alpha, see, if this is beta, this is beta. No need to extend this. This is the extension. This is the extension. So if this is beta, this is beta. Correct? No? If this is beta, vertically opposite will also be beta. So out of this much alpha, this much is beta. So remaining should be alpha minus beta. So second deviation is how much? Alpha minus beta. So total deviation will be what? Because they want from this incident ray. So from here to here. So light has bent by delta 1. Then again it has bent by delta 1. So if light bends by 10 degree, again 10 degree, then total how much degree it has bent? 20 degree. So it will be twice of alpha minus beta. Okay, good question. Please make a note. So here I added both the deviation because both the deviations were in the same sense. Same sense matlab initially it was bending like this, next time also like this. So we have to keep adding the deviation. Okay. Next few formulas are based on apparent depth, real depth. So let me just remind you some few things. Suppose this is denser medium and this is rarer medium. Okay, if an object is here, when you view from here, you will see the image somewhere here. So this is called your apparent depth, sorry, real depth, and this is your apparent depth. Now apparent depth will be lesser than real depth. So apparent depth will be real depth divided by refractive index of denser medium with respect to rarer medium. Now usually the rarer medium may be air. Then write here only refractive index of denser medium. But if the observer is in some other medium, then replace this n by n naught, where n naught belongs to this medium. Okay, so this formula you should remember. Similarly, sometimes opposite will happen. Opposite matlab your object, this is rarer, this is denser. So object is here, this is the real height or real distance, let us say, from the surface. When the observer observes this object, it will appear higher. So this will be your apparent distance. So now your apparent distance will be more. So it will be refractive index of denser medium times your actual distance or real distance. So it will be more, no? So you have to multiply with refractive index of denser medium with respect to rarer medium. If it is air, then write only n. Okay. So these things you have to remember, okay, students. So this is very important. Here we are assuming air. If some other medium, then you know, replace n by n by n. Okay. Then one very important thing I have told you, that if there is a glass slab of thickness T, refractive index n, and if you observe an object from here, you will see that the object will shift towards the direction of incident ray. The image will be formed somewhere here, and the shift will be not the distance from the surface, okay, shift, only the shift, that will be equal to T 1 minus 1 by n if your observer is in air. Otherwise replace n by n naught. So keep this formula in your mind. So this shift gives you by what distance the image is separated from the object, and the shift is always in the direction of incident ray. So let us do some questions based on these ideas. 26. An air bubble in a glass slab with refractive index 1.5 is 4 centimeter deep when viewed from one surface. When viewed, matlab what? This distance is apparent distance. So this is your glass slab. When viewed from this side, let us say, this side, the apparent distance is 5 centimeter deep and 3 centimeter deep when viewed from this side. So from this side, your apparent distance is 5 centimeter, and when seen from this side, your apparent distance is 3 centimeter. The thickness of the glass slab, thickness of the glass slab. Okay, so where is the bubble? Now I have no idea where is the bubble. So let us say this is refractive index is given 1.5. This medium is air. Now let us say this is the real distance x. Okay, then this will be what? T minus x. So these are your real distance, real depth you can say. So when seen from here, you know that your image will be somewhere here. No, so this is 5 centimeter. So from this side, if I write the formula, refractive index is equals to real by apparent. Real distance by apparent distance. So refractive index is 1.5. Real distance I don't know. Apparent distance is 5 centimeters. So x will be 7.5. So one part I have found. So this distance I have found. Distance of the actual distance of the bubble from the first phase. Now from here, if I apply the same formula, refractive index is 1.5. Real distance is how much? T minus x. Apparent distance is 3 centimeter. Right? So cross multiply 4.5 T minus x. How much we got? 7.5. So thickness of the glass slab will be 7.5 plus 4.5. So 0.12. So this will be 12 centimeter. Right? So the answer is 12 centimeter is the thickness of the glass slab. Option C. 27 you see now. So here your observer was in the rarer medium, air medium. So the apparent distance was smaller than the real distance. An underwater swimmer is at a depth 12 meter below the surface of water. So this is surface of water. So there is a swimmer. He is 12 centimeter deep. A bird is at a height of, bird is there at a height of 18 meter. How come this is, no, this one also should be meter only. Please make it meter, okay? Is 18 meter from the surface of water, directly above his eyes. So normal view. For the swimmer, the bird appears to be at a distance from the surface of water they want, not from him, from the surface of water, equal to how much? Refractive index of water here, this is water, remember, is equal to 4 by 3. Now this time you can see the object is in rarer medium. So when light will come like this, it will bend towards the normal. So image will be behind. So this is where the image will be. So this is your real distance x. This is your apparent distance. And now apparent distance is more, remember. So your apparent distance will be n times real distance. Okay. So apparent distance of the image of the bird from the surface will be 4 by 3 into x. X is 18. So 3 6 are 24. So answer is 24. Then there was no need to give this, right? But if they wanted from him, from the observer, if they wanted the distance of the image, then you have to add 24 plus 12. So here the answer is just 24. 28 you see, a microscope is focused on a coin lying at the bottom of the beaker. So this is a beaker. There is a point and the microscope right now is observing this point. The microscope is now raised up by 1 centimeter. So the microscope is raised by 1 centimeter. Then if you observe this point, it will be out of focus now. It will not be focused because you have focused the microscope. You are focusing at this point right now. To what depth should the water be poured? To what depth should the water be poured so that the coin is again in focus? So this is refractive index is 4/3. Now look here. Before he was focusing only at the bottom of the container. He has shifted by 1 centimeter, so it will not be focused now. If you put water, image of this will shift upwards. Right? Now since you moved by 1 centimeter, if this also shifts by 1 centimeter, then in this second position, you will be able to focus at the image. Understood or not? So before, this was where the focusing was done. For this much distance, the focusing was done. Now you moved it up. Now you moved it up by 1 centimeter. So now the focusing will not be there. You will not see sharp image. So if you put water, the question is how much water you should put so that again you can focus at this second position. That means the image should be formed such that this shift is also 1 centimeter. So that this distance and this distance are same because we have focused for this distance, right? Understood? No? Okay. So this means this 1 centimeter given here is nothing but the shift. For this, you can consider this as glass slab if you want. So what was the formula for shift? T 1 minus 1 by refractive index. Observer is in air, so no need to change this n now. No need to write n as n by n naught. So shift is 1 centimeter. Thickness means this height, no? Thickness means this, right? Because the object is here, remember. So this is the thickness of the glass slab. So this T will be h 1 minus 4/3. So 1 equal to h 1 minus 3/4. 1 equal to h 4 1. So h will be 4 centimeter. Okay. So let's do question number 29 now. Okay. A glass slab of thickness 3 centimeter. Thickness is 3 centimeter and refractive index 3/2 is placed on ink mark on a piece of paper. Okay, so there is a piece of paper and there is an ink mark. This is your ink mark, which is going to be your object. For a person looking at the mark at a distance 5 centimeter above it. Now above it means from this or this, not very clear. Okay, so from it matlab from the paper, I think. So from the paper it is 5 centimeter. So there is an observer here, 5 centimeter from the paper. Okay, the distance of the mark will appear to be distance of the mark. So when he will observe, he will not see the mark here, right? There will be a shift. So the image will be somewhere here. Now you can either find the apparent depth directly or you can first calculate the shift. Either way, if you do, let's say shift, suppose we calculate this shift from the object to the image. Then what is the shift? Thickness 1 minus 1 by n. Thickness of the glass slab is 3. Refractive index of the glass slab is 3/2. 2 will go up. This will be 3 into 1/3, 1 centimeter. So this is 1 centimeter. So this must be 2 centimeter. Or you can directly find apparent depth also. Apparent depth is real depth by refractive index. Real depth of this ink is 3 centimeter. Refractive index is 3/2, so 2 centimeter. Right? So this is where the mark will be seen by the observer. Now observer, so that means from observer to the mark will be what distance? So this is also 2 because this is 5, this is 3, so this is 2, this is 2, this is 2, so this answer will be 4 centimeter. So answer is 4 centimeter. Okay, because they want the distance of the mark as seen by the observer, matlab from the observer. 30th question, you see. How much water should be filled in a container which is 21 centimeter in height? So there is a container which is 21 centimeter. So height of the container is 21 centimeter. So that how much water should be filled in this container? How much water should be filled up to what height? So that it appears half filled when viewed from the top of the container. Refractive index of the water with respect to air is given 4 by 3. Okay. So when you see from the top, the container should appear half filled. But that doesn't mean that, sir, we should put it here. So if you put it exactly half, so for you it will be half filled. When you see it really from here, if you see, you will see this is half filled. So you have to fill water up to half of 21. But when you observe from here, the bottom will be raised somewhere here, right? If this was the bottom, it will be raised here. So when you see from here, you will see this much has no water, this much has water. So you will not say it is half filled. You will say it is less than half filled because less water is there when you see from the top, because the bottom will appear here. Understood? No? Okay. So what we have to do is, so we have to put water in such a way. So let us say I put water up to here. This. So let us say I put water up to here. This is our question mark. So that when you see from here, this bottom should exactly appear here. So if this bottom appears to be here, this much shift, I know very large shift I have shown. Yeah. Then when you see from here, you will see that this much is water and this much is empty, so half half. So you will feel it is half filled. So the bottom should be raised such that this distance and this distance should be same. So the top of the water should be seen at such a distance that this and this are same when you see from here. Understood? Okay. So what is the real depth of this bottom? The real depth is h, right? So real depth of bottom is equals to h. Remember, this is the surface of water. Okay. So real depth is h. Now apparent depth should be how much? Apparent depth should be this much, right? That should be your apparent depth, because the image of this should be seen here, right? Okay. How to find this apparent depth? See, tell me how much is this? For this you cannot tell. This is how much? So this distance must be, this is 21, this is h. So this must be 21 minus h. If you want to see half filled, then this is 21 minus h, means this should be also 21 minus h. Then only you will say it is half filled. So apparent depth is 21 minus h, real depth of the bottom is h. So we know the formula for refractive index, real depth by apparent depth. Refractive index is given 4 by 3, real depth is h, apparent depth is 21 minus h, cross multiply, 84 minus 4h is equal to 3h. So 84 will be 7h. So therefore h will be 7 ones are 7, 1 kg, 7 twos are 40. So you should pour the water up to 12 centimeter. 12 centimeter. Okay. Option C. So quite a nice question. Try to observe carefully how we have done it. So they are not saying, they are not saying if this is 21 centimeter, they are not saying how much water should be put so that it is half filled. Then it is obvious question. No, you have to put this much only. This much water you have to fill. So nobody will ask such a simple question in class 12 optics. They are asking you, when you see from here, it should appear half filled. That means if you put up to here, what will happen? The image of this bottom will be here. So for you, the container will look like this. For you, because the bottom will be here. So now when you see from here, you will not say it is half filled, right? So this is the way to do it. Okay, next question you see 34. 31, sorry. Each quarter of a vessel, each quarter means 1/4 of a vessel of depth h is filled with liquids of refractive index N1, N2, N3, and N4. The apparent depth of the vessel when looked normally. This is simple. So there is a vessel of depth h. Now this is divided into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here there is a liquid of refractive index N1. Here there is a liquid of refractive index N2. Here N3 and here N4. And each depth is h by 4, h by 4, and same. Okay, same here, same. So h by 4. So the apparent depth, already I have told you the formula for multiple layers, right? So apparent depth when you see normally is equal to, just add the apparent depth due to each layer. Just add apparent depth due to each layer. So for this layer, real depth is h by 4 and apparent depth is what? Real depth divided by refractive index. So h by 4, refractive index of this is n1 plus h by 4, refractive index is n2. For this also real depth is h by 4, refractive index n3. H by 4, refractive index n4. So take h by 4 common, you will get the answer. So which option? Option B, h by 4 common you take. 32, let us see now. So in question number 32, it is about velocity of image and object when an observer is looking normally. Okay, object is moving in water, let's say, or object can be moving in air also. So let me just describe the concept first. So imagine this is denser medium, refractive index is n, this is your air. Now here there is one object. It is moving with velocity v. This is the velocity of the object with respect to ground, actual velocity. Now when the observer will see, he will not see this coming with this velocity. When this observer will see this object, let us see why. See, this distance is x. But when he will see the image here, no? Yes or no? He will see the image of this object here. Correct? No? Okay. So what's the relation? X apparent is x by m, because this is air. So now if I take differentiation, I will get this. This is 1 by m. Now this is velocity of the object, because this x is distance of the object from the surface. So this is velocity of object with respect to surface actually. because the distance is measured from surface. Then this is velocity, apparent velocity, or you can say velocity of image with respect to surface. With respect to surface. Okay, so now the surface usually will be fixed. Then if the surface is at rest, then you can remove these two. Similarly, if the object was, this is case 1, case 2, if object is in rarer medium, air, and this is your denser medium, observer is in denser medium. Now see, if this is the real distance from the surface, when this person will see, he will see the image here. So the distance will be more now. So now your x apparent will be refractive index of denser medium into x. If you take differentiation, you will get velocity of image with respect to surface is equal to n times velocity of object with respect to surface. If surface is not moving, you can remove this. Correct, no students? So make a note of this very important concept. So based on this, let us see question number 32 now. A fish rising vertically up towards the surface of water. So there is a fish which is rising up towards the surface of water with 3 meter per second. So velocity of the fish is 3 meter per second. Observes a bird diving vertically down with a speed of 9 meter per second. Now be careful. This 9 meter per second is not velocity of fish. It is the velocity of fish as seen by the it is the velocity of the bird as seen by the fish, and the fish will not see the the actual bird. It will see the image of the bird, right? An image of the bird will be here. This will be the image, right? This will be the image of the bird. So this will see the image is coming with 9 meter per second. There's image is coming with 9 meter per second. Question is, what is the actual velocity of the bird? So actual velocity of the bird we have to find. Okay, and refractive index of the denser medium is 4/3. So let us do this. So this is 9 meter per second. No, so what is the relation between velocity of image and velocity of object as measured from the surface? Okay, the surface is at rest, remember. Surface is at rest. So you can remove that S word. So you know that when you are looking at this, you can clearly see your apparent distance is more than your real distance. That means your apparent velocity also will be more than the real velocity, because differentiation we have to do. So velocity of image of bird. It is very important to understand. Okay, all these symbols. Velocity of image of bird with respect to surface, remember, which is now with respect to ground also, because surface is at rest, is equal to, it will be more or less, it will be more because this is more. So it will be refractive index times velocity of object. The object here is the bird. So velocity of image of bird is equal to 4/3. Velocity of bird we don't know. Now you may think, sir, this is 9. No, put 9 here. No, no, no. This is not. This is velocity of image of bird with respect to ground or with respect to surface. This 9 was what? Velocity of image of the bird as seen by the fish. And fish is not stationary. Fish is moving. If fish was stationary, then we can write directly this 9 here. But fish itself is moving. So this 9 is what? Velocity of image of bird with respect to fish. With respect to fish, right? So that is your 9. Now let us be careful with direction. Let us take up positive. Otherwise we will be no, we will get confused in the middle. So up we will take positive. So let us write formula first. What is formula for this? Velocity of image of bird minus velocity of fish. Now if you can remember that obviously it is velocity of image of bird only, because the question is the fish is observing the bird. So the image of the bird only we are interested, right? So you can forget about this of B. Of B. If you can remember, this is velocity of image of bird. Now this is given 9 but down, so minus 9, because I am taking down negative, up positive. Velocity of image of bird I don't know, minus velocity of fish is up, plus 3. So velocity of image of bird is minus 9 plus 3 will be minus 6 polar meter, no? So once I found this, you can now substitute here, right? If you substitute there, what will you get? Check. So velocity of image of bird is minus 6. So minus 6, 4 by 3 velocity of bird. So velocity of bird will be minus 6 3s are 18, or 6 into 3 by 4. 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. Minus 9 by 2 minus 4.5 meter per second. Since it came minus, it means bird is moving down. Okay. So answer is 4.5 meter per second. But we have found the direction also. In the option, sometimes it will be 4.5 down, 4.5 up, like that. Okay. So I hope everyone understood. Very nice question. You can try to do reverse also. So try to do reverse and send that picture to me to correct. The question is, you have to find velocity of the image of fish as seen by the bird. Okay, so actual velocity. Let me give it down only. First you write this. So for the same question, so let me say there is a bowl like this. Extra question. Aquarium. So this is some aquarium. And let's say this is a fish. Okay, and this is a B. Now in the previous one, I asked you velocity of B. No, let me here ask you velocity of fish. So you have to, let us say the B is moving towards this with 2 meter per second. What is this velocity of B with respect to ground? When they don't say anything with respect to ground. Okay, I don't want the surface like this. If it is like that, then we cannot apply the apparent depth, real depth formula, no? So let us not be so fancy, and let us say it is like this. Okay, so now let us say the fish is moving towards this with 3 meter per second, and refractive index of this is, let us say, 2, to make it simple. Some liquid you think. Now how do I find? Question is find number 1 velocity of fish as seen by B. Now if water was not there, directly we will do no, this minus this, so that will be 5 meter per second, finished, if water was not there. But since water is there, when the bee will observe the fish, he will not see the fish here, he will see the fish here. It is the image of fish, correct? No, so we want this velocity. What is the velocity of the image of fish as seen by the bird? Understood? No. So first what we will find, from the surface we will find velocity of the image of fish. So velocity of image of fish from the with respect to surface is equal to, now be careful, image of fish will be here. So you can see apparent distance is less or more now. Apparent distance will be less. So your image velocity should be less. So it will be velocity of object, which is fish, divided by refractive index. Right, I have discussed this in the concept part. So velocity of image of fish with respect to surface, okay, but surface is at rest, so we can say with respect to ground also. So equal to velocity of fish with respect to ground is 3, refractive index is 2. So that is the velocity of image of fish. Now the question is to find velocity of image of fish with respect to B. So that means apply the formula, velocity of image of fish minus velocity of bird. But take one direction positive. So let us say this direction is positive. So velocity of image of fish. When I write velocity of fish, I should write minus here, because this one I have taken positive. So velocity of fish given velocity is opposite to my positive direction. So minus 3. So this will be minus 3 by 2 minus velocity of B with respect to ground is given 2. So minus 2, 3 plus 2. So it will be minus 5 by 2 meter per second. Minus means for the bird, the fish, the image of the fish will come this side, opposite to your positive direction. Now what you do, try this one. Velocity of B as seen by fish. Okay, so try this one. Because of water, few changes happens. For now, what you will do? Now you don't do this. Now you have to as seen by fish means this is the observer. So from when he will observe this, the B will be here or here. It is in radar medium, so image will be here. So with what velocity this is moving, first you find with respect to surface or with respect to ground. Then you find velocity of image of B with respect to fish. Okay. So we'll stop for today. Remaining questions we will do it in the regular class. Thank you.